Our next presenter is Karen Leonard. You guys probably already know her from the State Department. She's the Director of Education Technology and Computer Science, and she also serves as our Communications Chair.
Well, first of all, I just want you to know, at the start of this meeting, we referenced the fact that Kristen, Aaron, and I attended CSEDCon last week. And I think what is so absolutely amazing about Oklahoma is this network of people where everyone is willing to help one another is absolutely amazing. And, you know, the reason I'm saying that is because some of the information I was going to share is stuff that Aaron was sharing too. And I just love the fact that there's so many people and resources for you to turn to. I'm sure that many of you have kind of started to hear that there was legislation passed, Senate Bill 252, that says by the 24-25 school year, every elementary and middle school will have to offer either computer science through a standalone course or integration. And all of our high schools, public and charter, will have to offer standalone computer science courses. And of course, my dog is now going to start barking because, and you know, it's bad that seems like it's so far away, but it's really not. And just 1 second, there we go. Okay. You know, at the State Department, we are trying to do a lot to ensure that you're prepared and your districts and schools are prepared. So some of the things that I was going to piggyback on what Aaron shared, I was going to say how wonderful their code.org trainings are, because I think that that is one thing. I cannot officially endorse or support any curriculum or any specific trainings unless it's through some of the work that we do at the State Department. But I can tell you that we will be offering some summer academies starting this summer. I believe that those will be focused either K-6 or K-8 on computer science integration and trying to get teachers familiar with our academic standards for computer science and integration. We are also having several Bootstrap trainings. And if you have not heard of Bootstrap, Bootstrap is an organization that we work with through Brown University. We actually do integration in algebra and pre-algebra. And we have we just set the dates for our spring training. I know that our in-person will be in Tulsa on January 21st and 22nd. And then I believe it is February 19th and April 16th or something like that, which will be virtual. And I will have links to that. If you are not already receiving my OSDE newsletter, that is a great way for you to find out some more information on professional learning. I'm reference code.org training. One of the things that I noticed on the CS journeys is if you have not done the Amazon Fulfillment Center tour, either by yourself or with your students, that was one of the field trips linked through code.org journeys. That is a great way to show students and or parents how computer science actually works. And I learned a lot just watching that Fulfillment Center tour myself. Also, if you're an AP teacher, in our summer sessions, we have some AP Summer Institutes that should be free, and both for APCS A and APCS principals. So that's information that we'll be sharing so that you're able to fulfill yourself with some computer science background. But another part of this is making sure that our schools, our families, our students understand that computer science is not just completely sitting at a computer in isolation programming. There are so many careers out there, Oklahoma-specific careers that are being unfulfilled right now. And our students just really aren't even aware of that. So I know Aaron kind of said that, you know, some of our students have done code, an hour of code for several years now, and other students have never gone through that experience before. So if you are interested in hosting or helping your school host An hour of code. I provided some links in here. One is a step-by-step guide. I have borrowed this. I believe it was from the Wisconsin State Department of Education, that kind of gives you some ideas on who you would invite, how you would run an hour of code. If you scroll on down, there's a whole bunch of coding activities. You know, Erin was referencing the dancing activity on code.org. That is one that is really fun for everyone to do. But, you know, some of our students, like she said, have already done that. Or, you know, it's kind of overwhelming if you're sending parents or students to the Hour of Code website on code.org and say, take your pick. You might want to go through some of these and find out if there's, you know, reference 2 or 3 that might meet the needs of your students. And, you know, maybe you're doing an hour of code in your classroom with your own students. Maybe you're doing an hour of code out of the classroom in the evening with just your class and their families, if you can do that. Or maybe you're hosting for an entire school or district. So hopefully this sheet will give you some ideas. You know, it'll walk you through some of the technology needs. It will walk you through some of the promotional information that you may want to share. And here we've got code.org is awesome. They've got information that you can share with your school, that you can share with possible volunteers, that if you're going to host an hour of code at school, how you can invite media. Again, the more exposure do we have to computer science, it's great. You could even invite a politician. And I like this because this is, you know, copy paste and make some edits. And it's a great way for you to hopefully find a low stress activity for your students. Back in the slide deck, there's also some tips for parents. So if you're going to suggest that parents do an hour of code, here are some things that you may want to look at and be able to share with them in an email. Trying to make this easy. CS Heroes is pretty cool. If you are able to print any of these posters, or even, it's back in the slide deck, yeah. These are pre-created posters that if you are going to have, or you can have students create their own, and they can go through and find out who some famous computer scientists are. Maybe that could be a project within your classroom. And if you've got monitors throughout the school, they can share some information. And Tinker. Now, I'm sharing Tinker planning activities because I know Tinker does have a paid version, but they did create this guide that I thought, again, kind of walked you through some activities and setup suggestions. If you notice in that first pink block on the right-hand side, it talks about grants. And since Tinker is one of those tools that does have paid access in some sets, you may be able to find some grants funding for that. So trying to make sure that there's resources for you. And of course, I'm always a resource. In fact, back on the next slide, I am going to offer a virtual hour of code kickoff. It will be Monday, December 6th at 6 p.m. It will be virtual. This is something that if you would like to introduce an hour of code with your students, your family, your school, you can have them register using that link there. And it's going to be about a 15-minute overview. It's going to talk about the importance of computer science, the history of computer science, including our founder, and I just lost her name again because there we go, Admiral Grace Hopper. And, you know, share some of the reasons that computer science is important here in Oklahoma. And then I'm going to, you know, share some activities I'll be on so that, you know, this is come learn about it. And then hopefully our goal will be to get families to go from there into maybe their own coding activity with their children. We know that that can kind of be intimidating because I've also hosted an hour of code at the State Department before with many of my coworkers. And it was hysterical because there were people that I work with that had never coded at all before. And they went through those same levels of frustration that our students did. There's one, I can picture her still. She was sitting there and she's like, I can't do it. And somebody tried to help. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh my gosh, I did it. And you know, it's okay to, if you do anything with parents, you know, always preface it with the fact that this is something new and it's something that we all explore together, and your children might struggle and you might struggle and you help each other. But hopefully some of this information will be something that you can share with others at your school. And I'm hoping that some of you will come and join me for, you know, a 15-20 minute introduction to coding on December 6th. And I am thinking, Kristen, that is really all I have. I've looked in the chat box, and code.org is agnostic curriculum. Bootstrap is agnostic device curriculum. It's all of those are free trainings. And I know that Bootstrap will provide some stipends for teachers. And Erin's taken care of the AP Comp Sci training questions. And you know, I want to be a resource here. So I'm going to put my email address in the chat box as well. And no question is too small, stupid, silly. I'm just hoping that some of you will take the time to share coding with others. So Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Karen. Does anybody have any questions for Karen before we move on to the next part? Well, I love that, you know, so many of the, like code.org and Bootstrap, like we just want CS in the hands of our students. So TRSA is the same way. Like we're curriculum agnostic. We just want what works best for you guys. So if you have any questions for Karen, feel free to put them in the chat, or she put her email there.